Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to take a look at Human Torch and do a pre-update peek at how the character is doing in Marvel Future Fight before he gets a uniform for the upcoming update. Now, I know a lot of you have pointed out that in the original Future Foundation run, the whole sort of part, or one of the main catalysts of the story beginning, is that Human Torch disappears. He's gone, he's presumed dead. Spider-Man takes over for him for a little while. He's got the bag over his head to hide who he really is, or that he's not, Human Torch, and so on and so forth. But eventually they do find, Johnny, and he does reunite with the team, with his family, and he does take on a new version of the Future Foundation with a white suit in addition to those members. He does have that black suit from the Annihilus connection as well, I believe, but yeah, that definitely is a part of it, and he's definitely there. He's one of those 4 members. I don't think they're going to leave him out in the dust. So I'm fully expecting Human Torch to get a uniform, although right now he's a very strong character. He's kind of like Psylocke, and I'm going to be comparing him a lot to Psylocke in the coming minutes of the video, because I do think that, Psylocke is probably the only other character Tier 2 without a uniform who could do the kinds of things that he does. He's a little bit less consistent than Psylocke because he doesn't have crowd control, but he's a little bit more consistent than Psylocke because he has a massive 50% dodge and 20% guaranteed dodge, which makes him very hard to hit, on top of a crazy 30% heal. So all of those things, in addition to the immunity and the all defense down, which stacks up to -50, actually make him a very, very strong character, and he has the potential to be a very strong two-way character if they focus on his healing and his dodge and the other aspects of his kit that are PvP focused. But we're going to be diving into some PvE action here because I do have a fire damage ignore dodge proc, and again, just like Psylocke, Human Torch is one of the few characters in the game at tier 2, level 60 or level 70, who can not only function well without a uniform, but it can function well without a CTP. So very, very valuable. Probably at this point the best tier 2 character, especially among farmable tier 2 characters in the game that can't get to tier 3 and don't have uniforms. So we're going to be going up against Ebony Maw. You guys are all familiar with him. Because of my extremely high raid level, which is of course 499, we can go all the way up to 51 without penalty, but I've done up to 55, so we're actually going to try to go up to 60 with Human Torch, which is pretty bonkers. I've been testing it out just a little bit with this team. We're stacking tons and tons of fire damage to go along with Satana's leadership and Ghost Panther's passive. You could also potentially do this instead if you wanted. I think this would also be a very strong team because of the additional crits, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Just go full fire damage, and let's see how he stacks up against Ebony. This was the striker list that I was using, but I'm actually going to swap out Sharon Rogers for Psylocke just to get, hopefully, a bit more mind control. Mind control is really the most important thing for Human Torch. If you get mind control, you have a chance to win. If you don't get mind control, you could possibly lose, run out of time, die, some of the above, all of the above. So really with Human Torch, you are hoping to get lucky in a way, which is a bit frustrating for how you play him, but he's still very, very fun to play. And we started it off with luck because we got the mind control, and now we're just stacking all defense down. We're stacking the 25% attack buff from his 5th skill. He also has that, and we're just going to chip away at his health. The best case scenario here, we get weapon hexes all defense down, which stacks up to 100%, and we're gonna fire down these bars very, very quickly. It's actually quite wild to see how fast his health melts if you do end up getting lucky with that all defense down. But even if you don't, he can still do respectable damage. The only real thing you need to watch out for, and you kind of need to plan ahead for, is the way that Ebony sort of moves around the arena, and you can sometimes, set yourself up to anticipate some of his attacks, and the way he'll do one attack and then he'll teleport away. And oftentimes it's better to wait for that first attack to land, let him teleport away, and then hit him with the 3rd skill to begin your proc and your kind of all defense down attacks, because you'll get a longer exposure. You'll get more time with that 3rd skill channeling to potentially get some strikers to come in and help you, or just to lay down more damage. We're going to hit the 5th skill just to get the heal. It doesn't matter if we proc the obelisk. We're going to go right into 3 here and hope we get some all defense or mind control. We did not, so we're going to stall here now. We're going to pop the heal and then pop. I really like doing 5 cancel 3. I think it's a really nice combo. The other really nice thing about Human Torch, he moves really fast around the arena, which helps you evade a lot of attacks. And then he also, because of that dodge, he's not going to get hit. You can see the dodge popping up so much. I'm standing in these puddles and I'm really not taking that much damage because I'm able to dodge more than half of it. So unlike other characters who have the weakness of their channeling skill being something that roots them to the ground and kind of puts them in a vulnerable position, Human Torch actually is one of the few characters who doesn't have to worry about that because of the dodge. The immunity helps, of course, in a big way. The immunity on his 3rd skill really helps him to not take damage, but you have to also consider that with that 50% dodge and that 20% guaranteed dodge, even if you are hitting him, like look at that, I just stood there and I dodged it. You can get unlucky for sure, and you can get hit, but the high dodge is the reason why I don't really recommend. I kind of do recommend, but I don't recommend. I think you can be risky about it. Not using guard break immunity, because guard break immunity is definitely something that characters without super armor, without invincibility, and with a channeling skill generally need. And Human Torch, you know, doesn't have super armor or invincibility, and he does have a channeling skill. But then on the other hand, like, look, I would have gotten hit by that, but man, I dodged it. So, you know, put the glasses on, deal with it. We're a little bit short on time right now. We've gotten. We started off pretty well. The speed was nice for the first minute, getting through that first sort of phase. But since then, we've slowed down. It's taken us almost a minute just to get him down to 8 bars here. So we are definitely playing catch up at this point. But I wanted to do a more difficult stage just to see and just to push Mr. Fantastics. You push Human Torch as far as possible. So we just need to get a little bit lucky here with some mind control. There we go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And you can see that the damage with the all defense down really starts to stack up for Johnny if you can get it to roll. And this is what? Oh, I got interrupted. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So we definitely caught up at this point. That was a ton of damage to lay down on Ebony Maw. And on top of that, any damage he does, we could just heal it up. Honestly, Human Torch is... Wow, no proc? That's wild. Human Torch is a great character to play. You do need to get a little bit lucky, but when you do, it feels so good to just watch your enemy disintegrate. We're going to see what happens here. No, we're not getting too lucky right now, but we can still... There's still definitely tons of time. We pop one of those big... Oh, I got guard broken. That would have been a good time. That would have been a really good time because he had just gotten mind controlled. But let's see if we can start it off here. Okay, there's Psylocke popping in. We need some all defense down. We also need our Obelisk. Wow, our Obelisk is just not triggering the proc. That's crazy. Very, very weird. We're getting like 0 procs triggering. There's the first proc I've seen in like 30 seconds, which is extremely abnormal. You know, people say, oh, the characters get nerfed before the update to make the uniforms look better. Man, sometimes it feels like that is definitely the case. But here we go. This is our last chance, I think, with 30 seconds left. We're going to need chain mind controls, and we're going to need all defense down. And we're not going to get either. Instead, we're going to get a rain of meteors. But again, even if he doesn't clear this stage, the impressive thing is this is a level 70 character with no uniform, with, you know, a pretty good build, but I'm not even, you know, top 500, and he's able to stay alive. At the very least, he's able to stay alive against Ebony and get extremely close. We got extremely unlucky, I would say, for the majority of the fight. Besides that one big burst of damage from about 8 bars down to about 6, you guys saw that I was tickling him for so much of the fight because of those all defense down strikers. So that's probably the worst case scenario, and this is probably why some people will lower Human Torch's value overall or say that he's not as good, because these kinds of things happen. But if you focus on those good aspects, I mean, with the proper strikers or with the proper luck, I should say, from the strikers, you could finish this stage in a minute, or sorry, with a minute left. So rather than failing with 10 million HP left, you could kill him with 60 seconds to spare. And that really just comes down to luck. So like some other characters, it really does come down, like, for example, Captain America, if you don't get hit during your 6th skill charge up, you're not going to do much damage. You may fail against certain bosses. He's helped out a lot by the fact that his 4th skill now has all defense down to sort of mitigate that difference. And you Human Torch does have that as well, but, he still does need help, like some other characters do, and it just goes to show you how strong he is right now. But it'll be interesting to see how Netmarble buffs him with his uniform, and whether they go for PvE or PvP. As you can see here, my rank is 1350. I've got almost entirely 4-star Uru, so really nothing too impressive. 22, 20, 20, 22. 6-star level 6 skills, of course. 6-star ISO, none of them awaken, just a regular stage 6 bonus. So this is a pretty pedestrian build, I would say, and he's still able to, he can easily do stage 50. He can comfortably do stage 55 most of the time. He might get unlucky sometimes and fail at the last moment with a little bit of HP, but he can almost do stage 60, which is crazy because there are very few characters of the elemental type who can actually even do stage 60 at tier 2 to begin with. So yeah, lots of weapons. I honestly don't have suggestions for how they could make him stronger because he's already so strong. He's got everything. He's got a heal, he's got iframes, all defense down, immunity, self buffs, dodge, guaranteed dodge. What more could you ask for? I guess you could give him crowd control. That's the only thing he doesn't have, like a paralyze, like Molten Man or something like that. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of Human Torch. I think right now, besides Mr. Fantastic being at tier 3, I think Human Torch is the strongest of the 4 and the one who has the fewest weaknesses going into his first ever uniform. How much stronger is he going to get? If you haven't built up Human Torch, you're doing yourself a disservice. Definitely get on that horse right now and start farming his bios. Subscribe if you enjoy the content, you want to support me, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care.